We're dancing. We're dancing. Whoop, whoop. We're dancing. It's Father's Day. We're dancing. That's right, you guys. Happy Father's Day. We're live an hour later than normal, but we were doing Father's Day stuff, so these things happen. I'm going to turn my music down a little bit, and then it will slowly fade out as God intended, or whatever. Yes, you guys, we are live. It's Father's Day. You're watching the Brothers Sisters or listening to the Brothers Sisters Smart Dumb Fun. I am Jenny Brothers. With me is
and Brothers
and Tara Trotter. You'll meet Tara soon. She is our Flag Day expert because that is our topic today, Flag Day. But you know, it's also Father's Day. I went down to Sturgis and I had some ice cream and some smoked fish with my dad. Not in that order. We had smoked fish first, which was quite delicious. So. I know it doesn't sound like a thing, but smoked fish is a thing, especially when you've been to Frankfort, Michigan, and you've been to their little smoked fish shop, and you get smoked whitefish, which is good. And we also had crackers with a smoked lake trout dip, also good.
Very good.
So yeah. So cool.
I bought some of that too, but then I gave it to my neighbors because they took care of my cats and chickens last night.
Good job.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on what we did up north later, so I will talk about those when we get to our smart, dumb, fun section. So yeah, we are talking about Flag Day today. Much to talk about. It's been a busy week. First for Tara and I, it's our first week of summer break, and that's been really great. I know, and it's hot right now. It's so it's so hot today. Betty wouldn't go. She wouldn't stay outside. So like I have a cat who usually loves to be outdoors. And it was hot enough today where I let her out, and like literally 10 minutes later, she was screaming to get in, and she just came right down and just kind of splayed out on the floor. She was hot, so yeah, that made me sad for her.
Yeah, she loves to be outside under her bush and drinking dirt water.
Not today. Nope, not today. So yeah, she's hiding in the cool corner of the house because I have the AC on. I never turned the AC on, but it was hot today, so I turned it on. Probably going to leave it on all week because we are under an excessive heat watch.
Smart.
I thought it was because we hot. So it's like, get it?
Totally.
Yep. Sorry. I didn't mean that was bad. So anyway, hey, you guys, we're talking about Flag Day. Flag Day was on Friday, which was June 14th. And today's topic was prompted by a friend of mine, Beth Leonard. I hope you're listening. I think I gave you the wrong time though. Sorry. I told you 6 o'clock and we had to change it to 7 o'clock because stuff. So hopefully you're catching this. If not live, catch it tomorrow on Spotify or any of the other stuff. But this conversation was prompted by Beth Leonard. And we'll kind of talk more about Beth's motivation for giving us this topic. I think it's a great topic to talk about, but let's get all the history of this stuff first. But before we do that, we are going to go ahead and take you through our normal synopsis. Anne, would you like to start us off on that?
I sure will. Welcome back, Sister Squad, to the Brothers Sisters Smart Dumb Fun. Here's our synopsis. We are Anne and Janice Brothers. Our last name is Brothers, and we are sisters. We're just that lucky. We're in our 50s, Generation X, so pre-internet. Our go-to for finding information was to use the yellow pages in the phone book, and a vanity search consisted of looking for our name and our phone number in the white pages.
Did that all the time.
I know, me too. I remember the first time as a grown-up, I had a phone number in the phone book.
Felt so cool. Yeah, and it's one of those things that's kind of how you stalked people. If you wanted to stalk somebody, you looked them up in the white pages, and then if it was a bummer, they would have an unlisted number because they were that cool. I'm like, who was an unlisted number?
Or their
people
address
privacy
in there, and then you could be like driving by their house.
Like, yeah, that's their house. Yeah, it's so funny because like it was so easy to be private back then. Now we're like, oh, I'm a private person, yet I'm going to put all my stuff on the social medias. So no. So yeah.
So we talk about smart stuff, dumb stuff, fun stuff, or any combination of the three. We are not cool, hip, or sexy, and we know this because the last time we went to Cedar Point, the only ride we went on was the old-fashioned cars. And we didn't even drive it. We had Jenny's stepdaughter's new husband drive us around on it. Thanks, Devin.
Good job, Devin. Thanks. Oh, by the way, Devin has a perm now. I know, right? So it's that thing now because like boys have this haircut where they have like one of our students had this and I noticed it on him, and then Sarah sent a picture of Devin the other day with that same haircut. So kind of short on the side, but then like curly right on top. It's a thing. It's like, oh my gosh, all that time I spent, getting my perm and then wishing it would die. Now it's a thing.
Thing, perms are back.
That and the mullet.
Yeah.
Why?
Yes, I know. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grow out the top of my hair about another 2 inches and then just get it permed on top. And that's what you should do with your hair. You should get it like real cut down, real short on the side, and then get the top all permed. So
I haven't made any decisions with my hair in the last 3 months, and I don't think I'm going to start now.
okay, but if you want to go to haircut, there you go. Short, perm right on top.
Perm. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Mm,
Wow.
just the
Anyway,
smell.
if you're not from the Midwest and you do not know what Cedar Point is, it's our regional amusement park place. So, yeah, so that's what Jenny and I did.
I believe it's world famous, especially for its roller coasters, which tells you how pathetic we are because all we did was the old timey cars.
Yeah, exactly. And we had a hell of a time. All right. We're not a celebrity influencer or true crime podcast. When it comes to stuff we like, it is just too big for any genre to contain. So we have to do everything. We are
Yes.
great to listen to when you want to learn things about stuff. And we may be the only podcast you ever need. That's for
True
you.
statement. Yeah, we have one of our listeners that we're the only podcast she listens to because she's that smart. Yes,
Exactly.
Vivian, we're talking to you. Yep, that's
Thanks,
you.
Vivian. This podcast is not G, PG, or even PG-13. I mean, we're talking about fucking Flag Day, people. We may not be able to contain ourselves.
That's right.
Join us on our website, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. All of them, or just choose your favorite. Like us, follow us, hit the bell, leave us a review, 5 stars, thumbs up, whatever you need to do. Just tell them how great we are. Give us your feedback with our Q&A questions and our polls.
Yeah,
because she
do
knows
all
who
that.
we are. And it's still Pride Month, so happy Pride Month.
Correct. That is correct. So
Mhm.
we're down with that.
Yes.
All right. So again, you guys, now this is the thing. Now I'm just going to warn our listeners right now. If you have liked us on the Facebook or if you follow us, you're going to be getting a little something in your DMs that is going to be a request for you to share us with people you know, even if they don't necessarily, even if you're not a big time listener. We're going to ask you to just push us forward. That's right. We're looking for push notifications. We're going to ask you guys to push us forward because really that's how we are. Neither of us want to continue with our day jobs. So we would rather do this because it's more fun.
Way more fun.
So if you can help us quit our day jobs, please like us or follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Put the word out, share with your friends and family, ask your friends and family to share us as well. Even if you only listen to us for like 14 seconds and you're like, yes, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard, or no, I'm never listening to this again. Please like us and follow us anyway. We would appreciate that.
Yes, we would. Thank you.
Yes.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. All right. And tell us about something smart, dumb, or fun that happened to you this week. I will do the same.
Okay, so my thing was fun and dumb. There used to be this coffee house / art gallery in Alberta, Michigan called Trick Dog, and I adored that place. It was on a bluff overlooking what river is it? It's a river
It's
that dumps
into Frankfurt. Betsy
Yeah.
River?
Is it? Yeah, it's the Betsy River.
Betsy River, yeah.
Betsy River, which flows into Lake Michigan. Anyway, you're up on this bluff. So they had this beautiful porch. So you can sit on the porch there. You could drink coffee. You could have a pastry. You could buy some of their art. It was amazing. Well, anyway, they were open for over 10 years. And then they decided they were tired and they closed it. And the building has been empty for years.
Like 3 or 4 years, yeah.
Yeah, a number of years. And so somebody finally bought it, and that was the Furnace Street Distillery, and it's actually on Furnace Street. And they opened up the location. They still have a lot of the artwork that was part of the architecture of the building. And even though they don't serve my favorite things of coffee and treats, they do serve alcoholic beverages and pizza. So I got an alcoholic beverage. We had pizza. Jenny got an alcoholic beverage. We looked at the beautiful Betsy River, and they still have my favorite bench there, which is this bench that has carved red-winged blackbirds on it. And I've been trying to figure out how to steal it since they closed, but now I'm happy because I can go and sit there. And even though I'm not drinking coffee and eating sugar, I can have a lovely gin-based drink and eat some delicious pizza.
I'm gonna go ahead and just say that the only thing that could have happened better to Trick Dog was that it became a distillery, and then it did. So
know.
unlike Anne,
I was afraid it was going to become somebody's house.
I know I was too. So when it became a distillery, and honestly, the booze we had there yesterday was pretty good. My review of their bourbon was that it's a little young still, kind of has a little bit of that awesome, gassy fume thing that has going for it. But you know what? It's gonna be good in another 5 years. So,
And their gin was
or
great
Mark,
because gin is meant to be served young because you make it in a bathtub. So, and serve it
there you go.
immediately.
Yeah, you can get away with young vodka and young gin. It's harder to get
Mhm.
away with young whiskeys. So yeah, there
Yeah.
was a young whiskey. It was a well-made old fashioned, though. It was tasty. It was not as tasty as the old fashioned I got at the Poppycock in Traverse City. Damn, that was good
Mhm.
twice. And it was fortunate that we went out that night because Friday was not only Flag Day, it also happened to be A, our Aunt Julie's birthday, and B, National Bourbon Day. So score, 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 score.
That's a
Yeah,
lot to celebrate.
it was. We
Mhm.
celebrated hard. We were both pretty drunk by the time we got to the Amy Tan show for sure.
Yeah.
So
I was
yeah,
like, I'm trying not to embarrass myself by taking off my panties and throwing them on stage.
yeah, Anne did not do that. Even though she's like a Amy Tan groupie or
I
whatever.
kind of
So
wish I had. That's quite a story for Amy Tan.
I would have been, it would have been. Oh, well, can't build a time machine.
well, no, and we would really like her to come on our show. So we're,
Yeah, try
yeah,
not to be psycho.
trying not to be, super gross. So,
Hmm.
trying.
I'm trying.
Speaking of up north, my smart thing was that we went and saw Amy Tan at the City Opera House in Traverse City on Friday. She was talking about her new book, The Backyard Bird Chronicles, which we will be talking about next week. But I just felt so smart being there. I'm like, look at us at a book talk, and brothers,
I
so
know.
smart.
So smart.
You were
Yes.
so smart. And then the other smart thing is that we went up to Northport, which was one of our Aunt Julie's favorite places. We spent the second half of our weekend doing our Aunt Julie favorite places tour. And she really loved Northport, Michigan. And we stumbled across their municipal museum that they have there. And I am a sucker for a municipal museum. So it's this little municipal museum with these two ladies that just talked our ears off. And it was a blast.
Jenny, you should be
And
wearing your t-shirt.
I know I forgot to put it on. I'm stupid me. I'm just wearing my Eclipse T-shirt from Ottawa National Refuge. Dang it! But it was really great, and we saw some really cool stuff. They had a really cool loom. We learned that there was a big hotel that shockingly burned down like everything that in the 1800s. See, and then we just saw some really cool things. The ladies there were really nice. We dropped some money there. We bought some T-shirts because that's what you do. You want to support every time you go to a municipal museum. Leave money because they don't have any money. And I
Yeah.
learned a lot about the city of Northport. So
Yeah,
there you go.
exactly. So
My dumb thing is that I sold lots of rocks off beaches because I'm using them in my yard, and there are so many rocks, so little time. Yeah. So anyway, that is our synopsis. So, all right, let's talk about Flag Day. But before we talk about Flag Day, I'm going to introduce our Flag Day expert today. This is Tara Trotter. Tara and I taught together this year at some middle school that will remain nameless for whatever reasons. But but Tara, before we get started on this, before we talk about Flag Day, we're going to pepper you with a couple of questions that we
Okay.
always ask everybody.
Mhm.
The first one is tell us something smart, something dumb, something fun. Go.
Something dumb is, oh man, I do so many dumb things. Favorite dumb thing, I like to do dumb things at historical sites. It's kind of my claim to fame, but also not something I'm proud of it, but you shouldn't be. I like to share with my students that I had a bit of a ban from a certain museum in Chicago. Luckily, my name has changed, so hopefully I can get in now.
Wait, now what? You're banned from a museum in Chicago. Which
I
one?
I
What?
was the Chicago History Museum for a bit. Um, I have
Did
a
you
different.
ride Sue?
Well, no, I was trying to prove to the individual that I was with that because they have the bed that Abraham Lincoln died in, that he was too short for the bed, so they would have to lay him diagonally. Um, let's just say I jumped a bit of a rope.
Oh.
You jumped the rope? That's a no-no. That's like
This is not.
whoa,
This is the tip of the
banned.
iceberg of dumb things that I've done.
Wait, now, Mike. Okay, did you prove that you did you
I
prove
proved
it right?
it. I proved it, which is
Okay, all
why I
right,
ended up on the banned list.
totally.
Luckily
Yeah,
though, I say that that's my alter ego. My maiden name was Haywood, so I say that it was Schmera Gaywood was my alter ego. Um, and so Shmara Gaywood was the one that was banned, not Tara Haywood. And now I'm Tara Trotter, so I should be able to get in. We're going to test this theory.
Good luck.
But
Good
there
luck.
was
I
a
can't wait to
time
know.
in which my name was literally on a list that I couldn't go in for quite some time.
Wow.
Worth it, and point proved, which was really all that mattered to me. So there's my dumb. Smart. I think my big smart thing is that this summer I am focusing on my reading challenge. I've always been an avid reader, and since I have become a mom, it has gone by the wayside. Unless you count, like I Love You, Stinky Face, which I don't think most people would count as actual literature.
I don't count that. No.
See, right. So I'm trying to, up my game a little. And so I have been reading pretty much nonstop since school got out, and started my summer off with a bang of Remarkably Bright Creatures, which if you have not read it, it is wonderfully delightful.
Very good.
And what's my other thing? Smart, dumb, fun. I live my life in the fun. I try to anyway.
So your life is fun. Okay, I got it.
I have a 3-year-old, so she makes pretty much everything fun, even when it's not fun. Because you'll be in the middle of like some tense thing and she'll say something utterly ridiculous, and then you try not to laugh. Same thing with middle school. Like you'll just want to throttle them, and then all of a sudden, like they'll say something, and you're like, "Ooh, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh." And so, I try and find the fun even in less than desirable situations. But
Nice.
fun also, to add to your up north, we're going away for a week to the UP, and I'm really excited to like unplug and pretend like the world doesn't exist.
Which part of the UP?
We are headed to Mohawk, like up in the Keweenaw, like way up.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. Yeah, nice.
So we are leaving mid-July, and I'm getting really excited to just like unplug everything and be like, bye, suckers.
Yeah.
So
Everyone else good for that.
old enough to
Really
like
good.
enjoy it. So that's going to be fun. So
yeah, excellent.
That's what I got.
Cool. All right.
And I'll share more stories when we're off air and people can't trace me.
Yeah, so in case you get banned from other museums. All right. So the other question that we always ask our guests is, what is your spirit animal?
Oh, this is hard. So probably a pug.
Oh.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Probably a pug. We have 3 pugs, and I get them. Like we just vibe. So I understand that they can be a little cantankerous and like feisty when they need to be, but they also and they don't like to miss a meal, which I identify with on the utmost of levels. And they revolve around their meals, which I also, Jenny worked with me. She knows.
I get it.
But also they can be very chill and loving. And like, I just feel like they represent all the sides of me. So I'm going to go with a pug.
Okay. I like it.
I like it. Good.
Good. Nice. I'll buy all of that. I buy it. All right. Oops. I got to put that back in. There it is. All right. So, Tara, we've learned much about you. Our audience has now learned much about you. That number one, you cannot be trusted at museums. That's fine. You're doing it for, I would say that's not just your dumb thing. It's also your smart thing. So yeah, good job.
I have to prove the truth.
I understand.
It's my science. We'll put it that way.
You're a truth teller. You're welcome. There you go.
There it is. Remind my daughter of that in a few years, would you?
Done. Yeah, especially if she rolls into those teenage years when she believes everything that you say is a lie.
I think she might already, but we'll see. We'll see. So yeah. All right. So,
all right, Tara, talk to us about Flag Day.
So if you don't already know, the picture that Jenny showed is me dressed as Flag Day for one of our spirit days, because we had to dress as a holiday. And so I went Flag Day. And the sad part is I didn't have to go purchase any of that. I owned it all. So go Team Flag Day. Anyone can do Christmas. Hello. So June 14th, 1777, Congress has kind of taken their break from writing the Articles of Confederation. And they kind of passed this resolution about the flag, talking about the 13 stripes and how they're going to alternate the white and the red. And that they're going to put the stars on, and that's going to represent this new constellation that's kind of the new nation that's being formed. I'm glad the flag worked because the Articles of Confederation were a hot mess.
Totally.
So they got one thing right, go team. So that's where the date kind of comes from. And then there's lots of different kind of formulations that happen where people want to celebrate the flag, but it never really fully takes off. So you have this teacher, Go Teachers in Wisconsin, who petitions to have a formal observance of the flag, right? And so June 14th, 1885, he and his students say, we're going to celebrate the flag's birthday. And so it's considered the first formal recognition of the holiday. And he becomes known as the father of the flag. So this is B.J. Seagrand. And still nothing official, but he's kind of the first father of it. He and his students are just like, we're going to have this party for the flag. We're going to, party it up.
Were there cupcakes at this party? Do you know?
I'm going to say yes, because otherwise is
asking
it
for a friend.
Punch. Was there Hawaiian punch? Also asking for a friend.
Well, yeah, because otherwise is it a party? But back then they would have had the good Coca-Cola with the cocaine in it. So it would have really been a party.
It's not a party till the cocaine lace Coke comes.
Right.
Like,
and you're giving it to students. So what could go wrong here? BJ thought this one through, right? And it's in June, so it's at the end of the school year. So he really nailed this one. Cupcake,
yeah, good job.
And the Coca-Cola, right? So he's got this going. And so they're like, yeah, let's celebrate this. But he can't get anything like actually on the record. But people start to kind of pick up on it and they start to celebrate because if he's doing it, why not? Right. So in order to understand what he and these children are celebrating with their cupcakes and Hawaiian punch and Coca-Cola, right? Mm-hmm. What do the symbols on the flag represent? Because most people don't know. You're like, well, there were some stripes and some red and some white and some stars, right? So you've got the stripes. So you've got the 13 stripes, which are the 13 original colonies. And you have, I'm trying to point because I'm a teacher and I can't.
Nice.
It's what I do. So I apologize and I talk with my hands. So you have the 13 stripes and they alternate the red and the white. You have the stars. There's one for each state. So they have to kind of reconfigure that every time they add states to the union, which is kind of funny because they have to figure out how that looks the best. And I have a little story about that later on. You have the red, which represents kind of bravery and valor and kind of courage and sacrifice. You have blue, which is supposed to be kind of this vigilance and perseverance. And it's also kind of the color of the president. So the chief, commander in chief is supposed to be represented by blue, which is why you see the presidential seal and anything representing the president is blue. And then white is supposed to be the purity and innocence of the nation and like high ideals. So you put all those together and it represents kind of the entire nation unified. It's the president, it's all of the states, it's the history, it's all kind of the good and high intentions, it's the purity, the bravery, it's everything that our country is supposed to stand for. That's what all of those symbols are supposed to mean, right? And that's what when you see it, that's what it's supposed to be. So you've got, people partying it up for Flag Day. You've got Woodrow Wilson in 1916. He's like, hey, what if we make this official? No one bites. You got Calvin Coolidge. He's like, hey, 1927, guys, what do you think? We ready now? And they're like, man, not quite yet. Not so much.
What are they waiting for? I'm like, seriously, this is like, we've been a nation now for, I don't know how many decades.
Correct.
I'm like, what are we waiting for?
And it doesn't cost you anything, right? So this is not legislation that's going to cost anything. It's not anything that's going to be like this catastrophic change. People just were like, it's not really,
it's not a good time. We're having a world war or we're going through a depression or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple things going on, that you're focusing on, but
not now. Prohibition.
They're thinking, hey, maybe this would boost morale, right? So finally, May 7th of 1937, Pennsylvania signs off on actually recognizing as a state Flag Day for June 14th. They're saying it's going to be a state legal holiday. So now all of a sudden everybody's like, well, if they're going to do it as a state, then maybe we should think about making it a federal situation. So Truman finally signs it into a law in 1949, but it's not till 1949.
So wait, we had to wait till Truman to make this thing official.
Yep. So B.J. Seagrand has his first one in 1885. That's when he has the first like official on the record celebration of Flag Day. It doesn't get signed into federal law until 1949.
So what is that? 44 years? 54 years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dang.
Wow. Dang. 64 years.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's even more.
Yeah.
It's even
Yeah,
more than
Wait.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. That's crazy. It almost feels like a waste of cake and punch if cake and punch and, Coke laced Coca-Cola were,
I mean,
good for
it's
any
never
occasion.
well, but by 1949, our cocaine-laced Coca-Cola is gone. So
Gone. That's
now they're
less
just
fun
down to
already.
the Hawaiian punch and the cupcakes, which is never a bad thing.
True.
We might
But
have bomb pops by then, like the bomb popsicles.
ooh, those
Mm.
are good.
So you're going to
Yeah.
bring that in. That's not bad. That's not a bad celebration
No.
piece, right?
No, not at all.
So
No.
we've got that, right? So now, everyone's all excited about it, but then you get the myth of Betsy Ross. This is my favorite, right? Because everybody learns in school.
Mhm.
Betsy Ross is the one that sewed the first flag. She designed it and she made this during the American Revolution, right? Go Betsy. About to ruin it, guys. Betsy Ross had nothing to do with it.
What?
I know. I know.
I've been relying I've been relying on that myth for years.
If
I
you
didn't
still
even
go
know it
to
was a
her
myth.
house in Philadelphia, they
Mhm.
will still tell you this lie.
Uh-huh.
Because that's what their bread and butter is, right? You can go to
Totally.
her house and there's like flags everywhere and they've got the flag bunting and you go in and they tell you all of this. But there is absolutely no like historical evidence that this is true. In fact, this story never actually existed until her grandson came out in 1870 in a press conference and was like, my grandmother, Betsy Ross, designed the flag. Never existed. That's how Betsy Ross got her thing. They confirmed actually that it was a delegate who signed the Declaration of Independence from New Jersey, Francis Hopkins, who actually designed the American flag, and then it was created from the design that he had drawn out. And they have sketches and they have details of it, and they can like definitively prove it. I do think though we got to give Betsy some credit because Dolly Parton made a quote about her, which is the higher the hair, the closer to God. Because if you look at this picture, clearly that's who Dolly Parton was talking about.
Well, Betsy Ross certainly was sexy, so it would be nice to think
Right?
that the flag was made by somebody sexy.
Betsy Ross. I
I mean,
love it.
otherwise you think, well, maybe Flag Day is not so sexy, but hey, let's add Betsy to it, and then you're like,
You
yeah,
put her in that gold
Hey, go
dress, that
ahead.
killer
Flag.
brooch, and the big hair.
yep,
Mhm.
So on, girl, so on.
exactly.
Whether you actually did it or not, you just gets to sew it.
Yeah, hubba hubba.
Now, did she maybe sew the first flag? Was she not even a thing? What's happening?
So she was around, and she was like somebody who fixed things for the army and the military during the revolution and would kind of darn the uniforms. I love the word darn. Like I'm darning your socks or something. But she didn't actually have anything to do with the flag. Like they can't find anything historically that ties her to the flag other than this myth that has been passed on.
Power of propaganda, baby.
Right.
The power
I mean,
of propaganda. Yeah.
that propaganda is working it because most people, if you ask them, they're like, oh, yeah, it's Betsy Ross.
That's what I would
Wrong.
have said Betsy Ross.
It's right up
Yep.
there with George Washington and his cherry tree, man. That didn't happen either. I'm sorry. Am I breaking
Wah,
hearts?
wah. I think I knew the thing about the cherry tree, but the Betsy Ross thing does have me shook a little bit, man.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
sorry.
So
Just take a calming breath. We're gonna make it through.
it's so hard learning new things. No wonder people hate history because it just blows up, and then you're like, I hate history because it hurts.
I know. I hate being the truth teller because then people are like, "You're the worst.
Mhm.
You're the
How
worst.
dare you lie to me? Lie to me. Spread the propaganda."
I'm gonna believe my alternative facts, and you're just gonna have to shut up about it.
Go for it. You fake news all you want, man. I'm here for whatever you need. I'll be like, okay, Jenny, you believe
Fine.
it. You believe
No,
it.
I believe you. You're the expert. I'm gonna go with
Oh.
it.
I don't know. It's self-proclaimed, so I'll take it. I love being a self-proclaimed.
Excellent. Okay, well, soothe my soul with fun facts. Go.
Yeah. So I was thinking about it. I'm like, what don't we know about the flag, right? Because most people are like, well, there it is. Nice. Looks good.
Nice.
Red, white, and blue. Beautiful. So the Star Spangled Banner, which by the way, is the hardest national anthem in the world to sing. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
because you have to
Canada is
hit so
definitely
many different
easier.
octaves.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
there's only a handful of people that are actually like their voices are actually able to sing properly the Star Spangled Banner the way it is written.
We believe Lady Gaga is one of those people.
Do you know who is actually recorded as one of those people?
Me?
Dolly Parton?
You and Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, now I'm going to have to find that. That
Mhm.
is okay. Wow. What? You're killing me today. You're killing me with these awesome facts, Tara.
Because it hits so many different notes and octaves because of the way it's written that only certain voices can hit it. And so to actually be like, I don't know, like certified to be able to sing it, you have to be able to hit it properly. Not like the reworked ones, but like the actual, like the way it's written. But Cyndi Lauper is one of those voices. Another
about that?
reason. Girls just want to have fun, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, by singing the Star Spangled Banner. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Dressed
Yeah,
as
'cause
Betsy Ross. That's what's going to happen on her tour.
my brain just exploded inside my skull.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But the Star Spangled Banner is actually a poem, which is written by Francis Scott Key about the War of 1812. And the tune is an Ancient in Heaven, which is actually a British drinking song. I
Awesome.
love that our anthem comes from a British drinking song.
That's
Well,
great.
Americans are good at drinking, so I can get behind that. I'm fine with that. Yeah. That's
It
awesome.
also, if you listen to it, sounds a lot like God Save the Queen.
Yeah.
Which also
thought
makes
that
me
was
laugh because then is that based on a drinking song? I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
Mhm.
I'll
it's
get back.
English, so probably.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Fun fact number 2, in the 1950s, when they knew that Alaska was going to be admitted to the Union, they were kind of retooling the flag to add that 49th state to the existing 48. And you had an Ohio student named Bob Heft, and he borrowed his mom's sewing machine, which, knowing students, this I think makes me laugh even more. And he like took apart his family's flag and he stitched 50 stars on it because he wanted it to be proportional. And he had in his mind that Hawaii was going to be added. Like he kind of saw, what was coming, that Hawaii was going to be added. And so he sent it to his local statesman, Walter Moeller. And then Walter Moeller presented it to President Eisenhower. And when both of the states joined, Eisenhower actually presented that flag with the 50 states that the 17-year-old had kind of tooled on his mom's sewing machine as the flag that was then raised as the first flag with 50 states, that he had actually presented to his teacher, who gave him a B-.
Aw.
Guy.
And it gets raised as the new national flag by Eisenhower. And the teacher was like, maybe I'll give you an A after all.
So wait a second. So what you're saying to me, what I'm interpreting this as, is that Bob Heft is responsible for Hawaii becoming a state.
Sure. Yeah. He was
Good
like,
job,
you know
Bob.
what? I'm
Yes.
going to, because it's easier for me, for this project's sake, I'm going to will Hawaii to be a state. Now, here's what I'm curious. Hawaii's kind of expensive to get to and live in and function in. Does he get a discount?
I hope so.
Ooh, I hope so
he did.
too. I hope he gets at least 50% off and like a 2-for-1 on hotel rooms, maybe
I
And
hope so.
airfare, for sure.
on airfare. Yeah,
And for his descendants, because they owe him. They owe him big.
nice.
That's how I
Yeah,
look.
now I'm picturing 17-year-old Bob Heft just whipping out his mom's sewing machine and going to town and be like, Hawaii's got to be a state.
Yeah, right? And then I'm picturing the teacher being like begrudgingly like, oh, son of a.
Yeah.
You know,
I already
like-
wrote it down in ink.
Yes.
B minus.
But did the teacher really change it, or did Bob have to like get on the paper and like old school, like change the grade himself?
Before he gave it to his mom.
Yeah,
'cause-
we'll never know.
Yeah,
We'll never know.
I
Because he
feel like
used
that's
all her
probably what happened.
threads, so he had no choice.
More fun facts, please.
All right.
More
here
fun
we go.
facts. All right, here we go.
Unlike setting an intact flag on fire, which you can legally do, the Supreme Court said that you can do that. Flying one upside down is not always intended as an act of protest. according to the flag code, which is a real thing, it can be a distress signal. So if you are hanging it upside down, it could be a sign that you're in distress. So it's not like kind of waving the white flag of surrender. It can be like, hey, we're in distress. Please come help us. So if you were to hang your flag upside down outside your house and somebody knew what that meant, they could interpret that as you needed help.
So I remember that because I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I knew that one because remember, Anne, at Holy Angels Catholic School, the 8th graders were responsible for putting the flag up and down every day. Remember that? And
I never got to do that.
You never got to do that? It's for A students. Anyway, one time, Jim Kaufman and John Hayden took the flag and they hung it upside down to be funny. But because, they're Jags, or they were, I don't know if they still are. I haven't, seen either of them in like 50 years. Anyway.
Hey guys, hope you're not Jags anymore.
Totally. If you're Jags, sorry. But anyway, they hung the flag upside down and the neighbors started calling the school because they thought maybe we were in distress. And then John and Jim got in trouble for that. So,
see,
yeah. And they're like, but it was an accident. But we all knew it wasn't an accident.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It is. Anyway.
Fun fact number 4, which this is really funny to me because you see it all the time. The flag code says that you're not supposed to have the stars and stripes on any apparel, bedding, or drapery.
Interesting.
Oh, so when I'm seeing all these Jags with their flag bikinis and flag tankinis and tank tops and Daisy Dukes, that they're all breaking the law.
Yeah. So if you want a Merca room, you're in trouble.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know. The practice of draping coffins in the American flag is not reserved for just the military veterans and government officials. Any burial can have that, which I didn't realize.
I did not know that either. I thought that was
you had to be military or government. I thought that was part of the tradition. But you could have that, if you decided you wanted that, you could have that yourself.
Nice.
I don't think I personally want it, but to each their own.
Yeah.
Fun fact number 6, etiquette calls for American flags to be illuminated by sunlight or another light source while on display.
I did know that one.
See, because we're old enough where back in the day where you couldn't fly the flag at all at night, it had to be taken down before sunset.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that. So the fact that you can have it up after sunset and illuminate it now, that's a newer rule as far as the flag is concerned.
Yes, that is a newer flag code situation. And I think that came in, I'm trying to remember because I read the flag code, nerd alert. Proud of that. But,
yeah.
Hey, a girl's got to prepare, right?
Right, Ruth. We appreciate you.
I believe that came in the 80s.
I think it was either the 80s or the 90s. But I couldn't tell you which one.
It's fairly recent. It is in my lifetime. So it's fairly recent. So fun fact 7.
Coming. There we go.
There you go. During the Vietnam War era, some demonstrators burned the American flags as an act of protest, which we had mentioned earlier. The Flag Protection Act of 1968 was enacted in response. It made it illegal to burn or otherwise deface the stars and stripes. But in decisions 20 years later, the Supreme Court had to rule on it. Like it went to the Supreme Court because people were saying, well, it's freedom of speech, right? It's symbolic speech. It's not, spoken speech, but it's symbolic speech. And so they said that they couldn't curb, people were saying you can't curb our symbolic speech rights in the First Amendment by prohibiting us from destroying a flag. And so is...
Oh,
there I am. You get me back?
Got you back. Yep.
That as long as they followed the protocol, it would be acceptable. And that even doing that in protest would still be acceptable. And so technically you can burn a flag.
Okay.
I, again, wouldn't do it.
Not my thing. Yeah, it's not my thing.
Fun fact 8, when flags are taken down from their poles, you have to keep them from touching the ground, which I think most people know. They always have to be kept aloft, so you can't have anything like you can't have a stars and stripes carpet, according to the flag code, which is interesting because, again, you see stars and stripes patterns. But I think when I was looking at this, it can't be in the actual flag. It can be have the patterning, but it can't be the actual flag.
Okay.
I think that's the distinction I figured out, because you'll see like the patterning where it has all the components, but it's not in an actual flag situation.
Okay.
Gotcha. So there's a fine line between flag and flag-ish pattern.
Yeah, I think we're testing that.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree. Yeah,
I would agree.
we're there.
And I still wouldn't do it, but I think we're definitely testing the lines there. So, fun fact 9.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say some of the things I saw on the beaches this weekend are definitely going to test that.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. When the flags of cities, states, localities, or groups are flown in the same staff as American flags, the American flag is always at the top, and then the other nations or cities or whatever are kind of below. And then when like the sizing should be different. So when flags of 2 or more nations are displayed, they should be, yes, somebody's very excited about our flags.
Susie Nelson from the Bunny Yard.
So when 2 or more nations, they should be the same size and the same height, so that you're not kind of outranking one. But the American flag will always, like if you have the Chicago flag, the American flag will always outrank like the Chicago flag.
Okay.
Right.
Which
makes sense.
And then flag code strictly prohibits adding any insignias, drawings, or other markings to the stars and stripes. So you can't, you shouldn't be signing the flag. One of the other things that you're not supposed to do that a lot of people do is wear the flag. So you see this a lot. The Olympics are coming up. I'm an Olympics girl. I love the Olympics, but it's pretty frowned upon to wear the flag. Mm-hmm. So there's been a lot of commentary, and they're like, well, we kind of let it go for the Olympics, but otherwise you're not supposed to wear the flag.
Interesting.
Not a cape. Yeah. I didn't know that, because you do see that all the time in world championships and Olympics and things like that.
Sporting
Cup,
stuff.
Yeah. Sporting. Yes. Well, you know what? Sports teams get to do whatever they want. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yay, sports ball.
Sports ball, sporting. Yes.
So yes.
Okay.
So, the other thing that kind of, you guys had asked me to talk about. So why is the American flag the symbol for all Americans? And we kind of talked about this when we were looking at all the different kind of components of the flag, right? So it's supposed to represent everyone, all of the states, all of the different people in government, all of the people that are involved in government, which is all of the citizens, right? Not just the higher ups or the statespeople. Sorry, I stand corrected. It's supposed to represent everybody. Our flag is supposed to be a unifying symbol. That was the intention of the flag. That's the point of the flag. It's supposed to represent us all as a country. And in recent years, it has definitely gotten away from that unifying piece, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that, was brought up is, how do you reclaim that, right? How do you fly that without fear and judgment? And how do you say, I am proud to be an American, and I do love to fly the flag, and what it stands for is that unifying piece, when right now it is not seen as a unifying symbol, right? The big thing that, historians are saying, a lot of historians have talked on this topic in particular, is, when you're kind of starting out, it's baby steps, right? So you don't want to just necessarily, first of all, you have to realize in your own mind, which is hard, that the flag shouldn't belong to just one side or the other, right? That you have to kind of take ownership of it again, which is hard because, you don't necessarily, regardless of which way you sway politically, you may not want to be aligned with one way or the other, right? Kind of reclaiming it yourself. One of the things we do in our house, we fly the flag, but we fly it with other flags that definitely show which way we lean. And so it also kind of makes it clear, this is where we stand. That's one of the things, but also celebrating the flag and what it stands for. So one of the things I do with my students is, we do an activity where they look at the flag and, okay, what does it stand for? But also, what does it mean to you? You as an American, when you look at the flag, what does it mean to you? Right? Not politically, not any, like, what does it mean to you as a human being to see that flag as a citizen? And so kind of starting there and then finding ways to celebrate. How can you reclaim that flag? So as silly as it sounds, for Flag Day, in my house, we had flag dessert, which Jenny and I joked about when I was dressed as Flag Day. We barbecued and we did an actual like Flag Day pizza, like the dessert pizza. And, we talk about those things. And it's kind of taking that back and understanding that it's not for any one group to claim. It's for Americans to claim. And I think that's one of, we had talked about the Olympics. I think that's one of the cool things that's going to come out of Paris is for those 2 weeks, everybody kind of claims the American flag again as like you're proud to be an American watching those sports, regardless of how you feel about sports, right? Most people can rally behind the Olympics. And you watch that and you actually have pride hearing our national anthem and seeing our flag raised. And for those 2 weeks, it's not a symbol of division. And then we jump into a political season that's about to get very heated and it goes back to that. So how do we kind of keep that momentum going? And I don't think there's any perfect way, right? I don't think there is. I think it's a matter of, you need to find ways within yourself and within your community of how are you comfortable taking those baby steps. So if you want to fly your flag, fly it, not to be Shrek or anything of let your freak flag fly, but definitely like one of the things that we've done is in our own home, we fly the flag, but we definitely make it clear which way we stand when we fly our flag with other things that we have in our yard or that we fly other flags with it, right? Maybe start there. And then you can kind of reclaim it from that standpoint and start from that, those small steps. I think the hard part is right now, it's easier to do that now. Come September, October, November, it's not going to be as easy.
Probably not. Yeah. Like one of the things I saw this weekend, I can't remember which town we were in. I want to say it was Alberta, where I saw somebody, they had an American flag, they had a pride flag, and they had a Ukrainian flag. So there was literally no doubt
Yep.
where those folks stood as far as their ideals and which way they leaned and how they
And we
thought.
do
And
very
I think that's
similar.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
I
I
think, go ahead.
Well, I just think it's, we can all celebrate the flag. We are all Americans that, and we can fly the flag as Americans, but we can also have different views as Americans.
Absolutely.
And so, the flag isn't supposed to be a divider. It's supposed to be a uniter. So,
Well, there's been a lot of, like, the New York Times has done a lot of conversation and op-ed pieces recently too about, how it's a matter of like taking back the flag as a unifier.
Right.
Taking it back as as Americans. It's not supposed to represent the right or the left. It's supposed to represent Americans and the country as a whole and the people as a whole, and how that has to be the standpoint and not, it represents, oh, you're pro-Trump or you're pro-Biden or Obama. And even there was a statement made by Barack Obama that there was a time where he stopped wearing the American flag pin. And he goes, it's become too divisive. And then people suddenly think now that, I lean one way or the other. And he goes, and that's not what it's about. It's like, it's supposed to be about American people.
And for me, what my irritation with it is that, people will fly the flag as a way of saying, look how patriotic they are. I don't buy that at all. When you're saying, like you said, it's a unifier. We as Americans have what makes America truly great is the idea that you can have different ideas and perspectives and that you live and work with the same people and that you can have some sort of discussion about the way things are or the way you think they should be. And somebody has the ability and the voice to say, I don't think so. I think it should be this way for this reason. And instead, what it's become is it's come this thing where we wrap ourselves in the flag and we say, well, I'm a patriot. I'm going to hide behind this flag and I'm going to simply use it as a way to cover up my hate. And I think that's the thing that, for me, that's one of the reasons it's become so divisive is because it's become this symbol of hate instead of unification and acceptance, which is what really just grinds me to no end.
I actually found when we started flying our flag again that it opened a lot of dialogue with some of our neighbors that have varying, you know, views than we do. And even
Sure,
friends
because
have
everybody's different.
varying views than we do, which is wonderful. Like, I don't want you to have the same views that we do. You know, we don't have to. And it opened dialogues and, you know, it's like, oh, you know, we can agree to disagree. But I agree, like it's just like any other thing. You can't use it to hide behind and be like, this is my hate shield. Like this is my, you know, this is like my Superman cape of hate, you know, that like makes me steel that you can't bend. That's not what it's supposed to be. And if you look at like it's supposed to represent bravery and valor and innocence and high ideals and the history of our country, which is not without hate and without problems.
Totally.
You know,
Mhm.
I've taught history a lot of years, studied history in a lot of different places. It's
And a
not,
lot of it's gross. A lot of
it
it's
is,
really
a lot
gross.
of it's
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
And it's not, you know, without many of its own flaws. But by the same thing, the key is to learn to do better, to understand, to ask questions, to see people, to talk to people. It doesn't mean you have to share their views, but the idea is to have those conversations and be open to those conversations. And I think by encouraging people, even if you're, you know, flying like the American flag, the pride flag, and Ukrainian flag, and you somebody comes up to you and they don't agree with those things, right? But you have that conversation, you're opening that dialogue, and that's what's important. And I
Well,
think especially coming
you're,
into the season, that's huge.
and you're opening up that dialogue, and you're also, by right, you have every right to fly those flags.
Yep.
You do. You have every right to do so, and people do not have the right to tear down those flags or to face those flags or do, like, if you don't, like you said earlier, if there's something you don't like, don't look at it, and it's, um, and I think that's the thing that again, you don't get to come and tell me what flags I can fly in my yard, um, ever. And I don't get to do that to you either, ever. That's off limits.
But also, if you have
So
a question about something that I'm flying, come talk to me.
totally.
You know,
Rather than
I
just
in
ripping
my
it out of my yard
classroom
and
have
yeah.
a don't tread on me flag because I talk about it historically and what it means in the historical context.
You got some shit for that this year, didn't you?
I did. And
Yeah.
that stopped when I had the conversation about how it's used in a historical context and why it's there and what it means and how we talk about how it develops from what it started as to what it has become and how we talk about how it has become such a piece of propaganda and how I have that conversation with the kids and how we develop that conversation and it stopped, like the conversation stopped. And that's the other thing too, if there's something you have a question on, come talk to me. If you're questioning why I'm flying the flag because you're suddenly like, oh, did you do a complete 180 in your belief system, come talk to me. If you think I did, clearly you don't know me that well, but if you think that I did, come have that conversation with me. And you know, it's very much like the students. I will say that to them too. If there is something that doesn't sit right, let's have that conversation, you know? And I'm not going to assume that you're coming from a place of ignorance or hatred. Maybe I should in some cases more so, but I'm not going to assume that's where you're coming from.
Right.
We need to sometimes have those conversations and ask those questions to do better, to know better, to learn, right? And I approach that with a lot of other things. You know, the same way I would approach that with my students. And I think flying the flag, you know, you're opening a door for conversation. And I think the best way that we can kind of take this back as a unity for our country, you know, and I think the Olympics gives us, you know, not to be like, yay, Olympics, but I think it gives us a good reason for people to want to fly their flags, and it gives you kind of a safe space of like, hey, it's yay Olympics, right? It's not political right now. Like it gives you that safety of like I can tiptoe into the water, right? Before Jaws is gonna jump onto the boat. Yeah, you're gonna need a bigger boat, right? Come October, you're gonna need a bigger boat. But in July, you're gonna be able to be like, okay, we got this. And then you can kind of feel out how you feel about it before things get more heated moving into this election cycle, because it's gonna change.
Agreed.
It's going to change. But I think the biggest thing is just reminding people that it's not meant to, the flag is not really supposed to be a political situation. It's meant to be a unifying, like, we are Americans. This is supposed to represent us all and unify our country. Something that we
I'm gonna jump back to that slide real quick. So for those of us that may be joining a little bit late, you know what we're talking about here. Specifically, we were talking about this one. Oops, let me get there. We're talking about this this symbology right here, as far as what the flag means, as far as it's the colors and the stripes and the stars. So yeah. Let that be the thing that brings us together. But yeah, I would agree. It's not
and even when the founding fathers, like, when the flag was designed, when they talked about it, when they made the understanding that they needed a flag, the point of that was they needed a unifying symbol. That's why flags are used in war. That's why flags are kind of put up. That's why you have regimental flags. That's why you have country flags. That's why you have city flags. They are unifying symbols. That is the point. They are supposed to unify and identify. And so you're supposed to be identifying us as a country, as a unified people. And so it's bringing that back. And it's going to take people having the bravery and the strength to say, look, politics aside, I'm going to stand behind this, and I'm going to proudly fly this flag because it means to me as an American.
Yeah, I think that's a really good statement, Tara. That idea that if we want the flag back, we have to take it back, and I think that's a great statement, a great thought. That yeah, and I think it was Tony Caselli said that last year, and when I was having this conversation with Tony or something. Yeah, but even last year he had mentioned. I think he put something on Facebook about that, and it kind of got me thinking about that as well. I'm like, yeah, I guess I kind of avoid that for that reason. But yeah, I would agree. It's about being brave enough to take it back. So yeah, I love it. So that's heavy stuff. So we are coming up on our hour. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of wrap things up a little bit. But I'll actually post a couple of questions similar to this about Flag Day, just kind of how you feel about it and your thoughts and so forth. But in the meantime, well done, everybody. You have done another hour or so learning things about stuff. In this case, you learned about the history of Flag Day, the history of our flag, the symbology on our flag, and we've also talked a little bit about kind of reclaiming the flag as a unifying symbol of our nation. And remember, you guys, we want to hear from you. We want you to answer our poll questions. We want you to give us your questions, concerns, comments, and confessions. That's right. We want to know your secrets. Are we sure? Yeah, we do. We do.
Yeah, we do.
So
we totally do.
We absolutely do, because it's fun to talk about. Okay, good. So yeah, so a lot to talk about. Some deep and meaningful questions coming from today's topic for sure. We could definitely talk about this forever. We have a ginormous thank you to Tara Trotter. Tara Trotter, otherwise known as Schmera Schmatter. What was that?
Schmera Gaywood. Now it would be Schmera Schmatter.
Yes, Schmera Gaywood Schmatter.
Hyphenated.
Her alias to get into history museums because she's banned. So yeah, Tara, thank you for doing this. Tara put all these slides together. She was our history expert. So yeah, you've got a tote bag and some stickers and maybe a bottle of wine or something coming your way. So yeah, that's right. That's right.
Gosh, I just want to come back and do this again. So call on me.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, we like history, so we'll totally call on you for sure.
Next time we need our history expert, Tara Trotter.
That's right.
Yes,
that's right.
Done.
So absolutely. So thank you very much. We appreciate you coming on, especially on Father's Day. It was a busy day today. I know you were out doing stuff.
Thank you.
Yes, you were in beautiful Indiana today. So huzzah.
Huzzah.
Yep. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, you can support the Brothers Sisters for free All you got to do is like, follow, subscribe, or leave a review, a 5-star review on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. Put the word out. Share us with your friends. Tell us we're fun to listen to because you'll learn things about stuff. Even if you don't like learning, you don't have to learn very hard. This is light learning. Okay. We're not going to make you do chemistry, no stoichiometry, no physics. I promise.
No test.
No testing, no tests. We will not test you on this later. So yeah. Join us next week. We will be doing a review of the book, The Backyard Chronicles by Amy Tan. You can see a few fun things that Anne has put on our slides today. We got to listen to Amy Tan talk in Traverse City on Friday night, which was a blast. She's a nice lady. She seems like a nice lady.
She is, and she's she's very good public speaker. She was
very good public,
and funny, and I wanted her to keep talking for another hour and a half. So
yeah, and she's got that sly sense of humor. It's like she's really funny. I was very amused, and I really have enjoyed this book, and her drawings are fantastic. She's really fun fact. She's an amazing artist too. So
yeah, I was like, it turns out Amy Tan is brilliant.
Is brilliant on every level. Please be on our show. Okay, good.
Yes. Please be on our show. Or just follow us. Would you follow us?
Please follow us. Please.
Follow us.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We just want you to like us, okay, Amy Tan? Please like us.
Jasmine, can we just be best friends, please?
Totally. So needy. I don't know. This show makes me needy. Okay. Anyway. Hey, again, talking about next week, we'll be talking about the Backyard Bird Chronicles. Until next week, I am Janice Brothers.
Oh, and I'm Ann Brothers.
You worried me there for a minute. And that's okay. So let's do that again, this time with feeling. And I'm going to put the background music on as well. Wait. Okay. Until then, I'm Janice Brothers.
And I'm Ann Brothers. I'm sorry I'm distracted. There's a cheeseburger behind me.
That's right. So I'll finish this up, Ann, so you can eat your cheeseburger. We want you to get out there. We want you to do something smart, do something dumb, do something fun. We are out of here. Thanks again, Tara Trotter. You rock.
Thank you, Tara.